Hello and welcome back to Rogue Mystic Divination. If you are a current subscriber, thank you for tuning back in, and if you are new, please ensure that you hit that like and subscribe button if you like the content here. We are going to be doing Taurus for this reading, and this is the week ahead for October 20th through 26th. I am changing this up a little bit starting this week, so ensure that if you like it this way, if you like it the way that I used to do it, I used to pull 3 cards for the week, but now I'm going to start doing a card per day. Also, if you like the content here, ensure that you like and subscribe. And I will also start doing private readings, personal readings, at probably the last week of October, so keep an eye out for that announcement. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do that, though, so thank you for your patience. I feel like I am late because this is actually the 21st, whenever I'm recording this, whenever I'm releasing it. I'm still going to draw a card for Sunday because I feel like there's some of that carryover energy and some of that information that might benefit you. So I will be drawing a card per day, and I will be also drawing an additional card to tie all of the energy for the week together. So now for the Sunday card. This is for the 20th, and thank you for being patient. I know I'm late, but I don't know, I still feel like I need to do the Sunday card. Taurus, this is the Fool in reverse, so you may need to hold back. You may have felt like you needed to hold back on a decision, and honestly, it feels like you're going to need to make that decision Tuesday or Wednesday, and that's because there's going to be information that comes in today on Monday the 21st of October. That's going to change your perception or change your resources. It's going to affect the decision that you would make. And it ends up being the exact opposite of what you were going to do or say. So that is for Sunday. And then for Monday, and we're back on track, but we're still holding back. We're thinking about things. We are trying to understand our own energy in a space of quiet, and even if it's just a few moments here and there today where you are trying to understand what's going on and understand the situation rather than put your opinion to it. Whenever you are seeking truth, you need to be open to what is being put in front of you for you to understand, rather than making declarative statements and saying, this is how this is, or this is how this is going to go. Observe. Like with the Fool coming out for Sunday, there is new information that you have been, may not even be new information, it could be old information that you have been ignoring or been unable to accept or perceive of because you were trying to be all present and forward and maybe even defensive. But this Hermit on Monday is going to kind of guide you to sit back, relax, and see how things go. And you're going to be more prone to thinking about whether or not things have anything to do with you, whether or not your opinion is necessary, whether or not you have been worrying over things that weren't for you to worry about, and assessing a situation to where you're coming to peace with it in a way. whenever you're not constantly reacting in an outward way and being a reactive personality, it ends up that you can pull back some more of that energy into you, and that you can start to nurture and understand yourself a little bit better with clarity, and even correct some things that you were doing that were not doing you that much of a favor either. For Tuesday, we have the Four of Cups in reverse. So this is more of that sit and listen to nature, listen to what's going on, listen to not only what people are saying or what the world is saying, but what it is that your soul, your spirit is trying to tell you. Because it's likely that your own intuition has been trying to speak to you, but you've been ignoring it. And even if you have felt like you were properly aligned to everything and everything was exactly how you have been seeing it, right now it's going on Tuesday. It's going to be likely that you see that, oh, well, maybe I can make this change, but I don't see it being an outward change. It's something that you do within you to be happy, choose to be happy. And this could be because you've been holding on to something that you couldn't do anything about, that you realize that you may have been given the wrong information, the wrong opinion. Somebody could have given you an opinion that about something or someone that was a selfish opinion on their part. That they weren't getting what they thought they should be getting out of this person, or this person put them in their place, this person wasn't giving to them, and they thought they should be able to take whatever they wanted from them, and that wasn't the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And I feel like you're going to end up getting something to do with courts or justice coming up next, or at least for the rest of the week. So for Wednesday, we have the Nine of Cups. So even though you have been trying to let go of whatever this issue is, whatever this opinion is, you may end up finding difficulty in doing that just because you're so used to it being there. You're so used to stepping around that stone. Instead of adjusting your path to where you don't have to deal with it, that you're now intentionally running into it. You're not just stepping around it, you're stepping over it. And I'm seeing the lines of, like, whenever you have your chart done, like you have the lines for conjunctions and connections between planets and elements and different energies on your astrological chart. That's what I'm seeing. It's like you have a choice that you can stop crossing this person or crossing this obstacle, but you insist on intentionally doing it. It's because your life has been defined by it for so long. Like, it's edging on being masochism. If you don't have something to bitch about, then what do you talk to people about? And this could end up putting you in your ego, to where your ego is being expressed, but it's almost like it's putting itself out there to appear like it's there more than it is. Like any substance that it's made up of is frontline, visible. But if you know anything about war and strategy, you never put all of your men, all of your resources on the front line. So it's likely that this is a desperate act for you to appear a certain way, appear bigger than you feel. Because it's almost as though you're more concerned with how you're being perceived than how things actually are, because you don't want to look at how things actually are. And for Thursday, overcompensating. But for Thursday, it doesn't look so much like you get over this issue. It's just like it dissolves. It's still there, but it's not having that much of an effect on you. And you are allowed to kind of see through it almost like a veil. So much so that you're not even reacting to it being there anymore. And because you can put that aside, you can acknowledge that it's there, but still see through it and not allow it to impede your judgment or your vision. It's going to make you feel a lot better. You may even find out that you have something to celebrate, and that's one of the things that turns this this influence around you into something that you can pretty much ignore. Friday. And you know what? Back on Thursday, this may be someone that comes to visit you, and it's possible that they're a Leo, but maybe Sagittarius, but for the most part, it feels like it's a Leo and a female, or at least a feminine influence. So for Friday with the Hanged Man, it's if you find yourself in stagnation to where you can't move, to where you can't do anything, all these plans that you had, you can't do anything with because you either lack the resources, you lack the time, you can't set things up to where they will align properly. This stagnation is going to be a chance for you to, I know it says sacrifice, but I think it's sacrificing your need for control. And just letting things kind of wash over you and see where things end up falling after the flood. The more you let go of control on Friday, the better off you're going to be, because otherwise you're fighting against a current that you have no chance of winning against. Allow it to sweep you to shore and then see where everything else ends up. And whenever Mother Nature is done moving things to where she thinks that they need to be, then you'll have a much better perspective of what it is that you have to work with, what it is that you can do, and what are more immediate concerns that you need to address, and what it is that you can put on the back burner for right now. And this stagnation is really going to be, it's almost like you have a day off and you don't have anything that you have to do because you don't have a vehicle, it broke down, there's no way for you to get there, there's no way for you to do anything, you had to cancel plans, you have food in the house, so you don't need to go and get groceries. You don't have to go to the store. You have everything that you need. But your ability to move out of your normal sphere of activity is not going to happen. It's like you have a part of your, if we want to put it that way, it's like you have a little demon on your shoulder. A lot of the time, it's like you need to keep moving. You need to keep doing something. There's always something to do. Find out what it is and do it. Even if it seems silly, do it. You have to be doing something. Whispering in your ear, poking you, prodding you, like, get up. You got to do something. You can't relax. You're going to be able to relax, and you're going to be able to see the results of some of your previous actions, good or bad, and you're going to be able to see what it is that you can do in the future to either improve things or let them go. And I'm really starting to love the Hanged Man. And for Saturday, there may be a Gemini getting in your face on Saturday. Because that's just what I saw. I saw someone that I know that is a Gemini just like getting right in my face and talking way too fast. And yeah. So you may end up having someone that is forcing their opinion, forcing their ideas on you, and they're doing it so fast that you cannot make heads or tails out of what it is that they're saying. If they need something, if they're trying to give you something, if it's for your benefit, if it's for your detriment, it is hard to figure out what this person's intent is and what their purpose is for trying to involve you in it. Or if they're even trying to involve you in it. There's just a lot of confusion there. But for the Eight of Swords, I always like to read this as you have these ideas that are absolute ideas. They are thoughts and teachings that these are absolute. And you know these things for sure. And with these 5 behind you that were meant to cause you progress, they ended up just getting in your way. And you have these other 2 on the left-hand side that you're trying to rely on, but they're also just standing in your way. And together, they're pushing you toward this last sword over here that's in the front. Past the emotional contemplation, the emotional issues that you may have been trying to ignore. All of these lessons are now pushing you, lessons and teachings and systems that you've learned are now pushing you towards this one final idea, this one final mental element that could actually be the one to free you from your bounds. And just because you've been kind of pinned in by these other swords, it doesn't mean that you can't still use them, because these swords are still tools. Whether or not they are to your benefit or to your detriment is how you use them. If you pick a sword up by the blade, it's going to hurt you, it's going to cut. If you pick it up by the handle or the hilt, it's going to be something that you can use to defend yourself or against somebody else. A gun is not evil. Okay? It is a neutral thing. It is the intent that somebody puts on it that determines whether it's good or evil. And the same goes for the sword, the same goes for any weapon, any object. It is not going to hold a positive or a negative energy until that is imbued upon it. So much like if you are into altars and tools on your altar, you can take a object which is neutral and you can imbue it with energy that you can either feed off of or utilize it as like an amulet to influence your energy whenever you carry it. And that's how you need to think of these ideas, as objects, as information, neutral information. And what you do with that information is going to determine whether or not it's good for you, bad for you, good for somebody else, bad for somebody else. And as much as you may feel like you're imprisoned, like you have to take on these responsibilities, you have to deal with these things in this way because, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. These bodies are objects. These bodies are neutral things that our spirits and our minds put influence on. But I still have one more card to draw, and that's going to wrap up all the energy for this week. And that for you right now is going to be the Two of Wands, Taurus. The Two of Wands, even though you feel like you're trying to progress, you have passions. You have one that has stuck with you, stood by your side, but it may be time for you to let it find itself a new home. This wand behind him is something that he put a lot of time and energy in. He put a lot of thought and faith into it. But now it looks like it's even bound to the wall. It's bound to its place, and it won't be coming with him. Because I'm sorry, it looks like a bracket on there. And this could easily be something that you feel like you have planted your flag in the ground and you have succeeded and you have overcome this. And this is at the top of a fortress. So, or a castle. So you've conquered something very physical, very tactile that you can put your hands on, you can pick it up, you can put it in its spot, and it will stay there. It is stable. And because of that, you can now move on to other things that you feel like you need to move on to. However, I always feel like there is a warning with this other wand that he has his hand on, because it's up on top of the wall. It's like he's putting this idea on top of a pedestal and he is giving it more credit than it's due. He may also be putting too much faith in it. Especially with it being on the left-hand side, because the left-hand side is the past or going back to something, and looking at the globe in his other hand, it's like he's going back to the past to understand the past with a new perspective. And in that, he's going to be discovering something about himself, about the situations that he was in, possibly about family and heritage that no one may have known. But there is, you know what, I almost fell into it again. If you saw any of the other readings that I put up for this week, it's like everything was telling me patience, 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 patience. And again, a journey is, during a journey you come into obstacles, you encounter all of the elements in a multitude of ways. So be patient with yourself and deal with any obstacles that you come up with this week, with not only patience for the things that get in your way, but patience for yourself and how you need to handle things. You may not know exactly the best way to do it, but there may be no best way to do it. And you also could be understanding that you may have been putting malevolency or negative energy onto something without understanding it first, whenever in reality it was neutral or positive. But you allowed your opinion or your lack of insight, your lack of knowledge of something to be the chief predictor of how it is that you perceive something or someone. But with that, Taurus, I am going to leave you for the week. You have a fantastic journey ahead of you. You just need to ensure that your perception is not colored by rose-colored glasses or by nightshades. So in this journey, it does feel like you are protected. So don't be afraid to encounter things and maybe even get your hands a little dirty with them. And that feels like it's a very spiritual, energetic kind of perception that you're going to have. But as always, be safe, be careful, and pay attention to what it is that you're dealing with, not just writing things off as something that's easier for you so you don't have to deal with it.